He's your amigo. He's everyone's amigo. He's America's amigo. One of the best jam band rock fans I know,
Oh
and
God.
he's constantly living in a nostalgic gaze. But a sweetheart of a gentleman. His comedy special, "Don't Let Me Down," is available now for free on YouTube. Mike Finoia going to be coming to Zanies in Chicago. How you doing, Mike?
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm well, man. You just got some big other dates you're doing. You're touring with Sal Volcano. People know him as well from television, and Ron White. So you're getting the call up here, bud.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty cool. I did my first date with Ron in Vegas. And it was funny. Our introduction to hanging out was playing golf before the show. And I was so scared. And I'm like, don't hit Ron with the ball, whatever you do. And dude, I whizzed his head twice. Yeah, I'm normally slicing, but this time I was, cutting left, and
You almost wedged
and he was cool at it.
Yeah, you almost wedged your way out of a whole lot of work there, bud.
And I'm just like, dude, can we do the thing I know how to do first, and then can we do comedy and then, or maybe can we eat or something? I don't know, something I'm confident in, other than dangerous. Imagine that. He's like, how come you got fired? Well, I killed the headliner. No, it's cool. It's a nice little blend of things. I got a bunch of headline dates, going out with Sal, who's like my brother, and I love him, and we'd been working together forever. And then, yeah, Ron saw me in Austin at the mothership and was like, "You want to come out on the road with me?" And I was like, "Sure, dude. You're a legend." And he's awesome. He's super cool. So it's really neat. We went to the Sphere. And
man, you at the Sphere, you've told me stories of you enjoying certain additions to a concert experience. I think that's
accoutrement.
Yes, just additions, appetizers, if you will, to the experience.
Yeah, snacks.
And I assume at the Sphere, which I've seen in person, and it's just glaring. I went to Las Vegas for WrestleMania. Seeing it, even if you're not inebriated in some form, it's just hard to fathom what it is when you look at it.
Well, dude, it's hilarious. Did I tell you the story about the guy, the big tough guy in the vest at the Dead show? Did I tell you about that dude who?
No, but you've told me Dead stories. You've been to hundreds of jam band shows.
Well, so. Yeah. I mean, I hate that word, but yes.
I'm saying inclusive language to the alternative rock crowd to bring them in. Okay.
I like all things.
I know.
I like all things talent, and I like the Grateful Dead, and I like Fish, and that's kind of it. I like the band Mo. But I'm not a big, I'm not going to go just watch people noodle for the sake of noodle. But I'd much rather, I worship Tool, and I'm going to see Wu-Tang this week coming up. And I love all good music. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I go to the Sphere, and it's before the show. I don't know if I ever told, it's this old dude, old hippie, leather vest, big beard, tough guy. And he's like, everybody said, don't drink. You get motion sick. Forget that, blah, blah, blah. Dude's hammering back booze, right? Like big, like like those like souvenir cups.
Yeah.
Gunning them back. The concert starts, and what happens is you take off out of San Francisco and fly into space backwards. You kind of like lift off into space, and the show happens in space. Like that's the vent. It's Epcot on acid, dude. The place is great. So the guy, I look over, and the dude's got his eyes closed. He's throwing up through his hand, and he's going, "Tell me when we land." This is the best thing I've ever seen, dude. And this guy was just like yakking through his hand, and then he just sat down and was laughing at himself. But God, it was hilarious because he was so confident in his drinking ability. And then the Sphere just threw him for a loop, and he's like, "Ooh, tell me when we land." It was the best thing I've ever heard. But Ron and I and his manager and a couple people, we went to see Kenny Chesney. And I'm not a country guy. And neither Ron really isn't either. And I mean, we like Western. We like Johnny Cash, whatever. But it's just the thing, he likes to do stuff, which is cool. And we were both kind of ribbing on it a little bit. And then he covered Ron goes, Jim, when we were watching Kenny Chesney, he goes, Jimmy Buffett must be turning over in his grave, because I think Kenny Chesney's kind of just like country Jimmy Buffett. It's a lot of like,
he's hot. He's hot, Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, cold beer, shoes off, short shorts, Friday night fireworks, all that, Mad Lib country that I think I still think I could write. You and I can write a country album.
Make a reference to something you're wearing on the night of the week where you don't have to work and the kids ain't there, but you look like you were 19 all over again. Boom. I just
There it is. There it is. That stolen kiss under the lights at the football game. And then we went to the fair and, and then
you got your grandma's eyes. Oh, you're doing all the sweet stuff.
You're wearing my jacket. It's a cool night. And, putting your toes in the river and drinking a beer. But then they covered a Jimmy Buffett song, and me and Ron both started singing along to it. And it was like we had this like bonding moment. Like it's like our first time hanging out. And we were like, "Come Monday, it'll be all right." Like we were doing like all shit. It was pretty funny stuff.
Did he look at your hands to see if you had a golf club just to be safe? He didn't want to have like a moment.
I was air guitaring on a pitching wedge. Yeah, really. But no, I was. It was a pretty surreal experience, and but he was complimentary, and he asked me to do more dates, so I'm thrilled. It's cool when someone that you like kind of are like, holy cow, they like your stuff.
It is surreal. I've gotten to do radio with people I used to listen to when I grew up, listening to Q101 and listening to the radio, and now I do radio with them.
Yeah,
in some way. And like there's a great guy. We have a podcast with him through Q101, James Van Ostel. I love him on the radio.
Yeah,
and I've done his podcast. I have a comedy album coming up on August 9th that I'm taping.
Awesome.
So it's kind of glaring, and he was immediately, you got to come on and do it. And I've done the podcast before, but to go, you meet him and you eat in the car. It's called Car Con Carne. If you guys haven't listened to it, go seek it out. It's great. And I'm having, but in the back of my head, I have that surreal. You have that like all the time you're with Ron, right? The whole time you're like, you're one of the blue collar comedy guys. Like you played arena. Like in the back of your head, the whole time it's like you played arenas. Like before you started doing stand up or something like that. That's got to be running through your head the whole time, and you wanna kill for him every night, right?
Well, yeah, and it's a thing that's kind of neat because I didn't know him at all before. You know what I mean? So like he watched my set. I didn't know he was watching my set. And then he came up after and was like, "You're a funny dude." And I was like, "Thanks, man." And he's like, "That was a killer set. Would you like to come out and do some dates with me?" And I was like, "Sure." And I just have that in my head, like nothing good ever happens kind of thing. So then a couple of days later, his manager called and was like, "Ron told me to call and, schedule some dates for you." And I was like, "Oh, wow, cool." Like he meant it. So and then from there, but it's like, I had that early on with Big J. And with Dave Attell, and with, Attell a lot, because he's like I love him more than anything in the world. And then the Jokers. And, so it's this thing of kind of like, holy cow, I definitely want to do great for these guys. You know what I mean? And but also I like the fact that they trust me enough to say to their crowd, "You're going to love this guy," which that's awesome. That's really neat when that happens, because this gig gets harder and harder every algorithm switch or whatever. You think you got something figured out, and then bloop, whatever you were doing was wrong. And dude, I talk to Jay like almost every day, and we joke around about if we were those type of like internet, like go out and do character type guys or whatever, like we have so many
the TikTok crowd, the creator crowd, and they've created an audience online. It's just a different version of comedy.
And God bless them, dude. Yeah. It's good for them. You can't fault anybody but it is funny, as a grumpy old chunk of coal that I am, I just kind of go like, ugh. But I'm jealous because I wish I had it in me to go do, go up and interview people that are, I don't know, just weird things people do online and whatever.
You don't want to wear a wig. I can tell, Mike. You don't want to put on a wig.
It's interesting you say that, because I wanted to see, I've thought about becoming a different hairdo every time I'm on something. Just get an assortment of discount wigs, and just, you never know which guy you're going to get.
Go the full Costanza and just wear it and don't acknowledge it at all. In front of people that know you, just nothing whatsoever. Just don't acknowledge it whatsoever.
Yeah, I've thought about it. Maybe the algorithm doesn't like baldness. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But anyway.
On your special, Don't Let Me Down, which I've talked to you about before, and I was watching it before we started today for a bit of inspiration. You have one of the best bald bits of all time about seeing other bald men and the way I want to check out the back of the head. I want to know, because that's the immediate, like every time the fact you did I was literally just like, I'm not a comic anymore. I'm just taking in this bit and I completely relate to it. I do that all the time. I hate the way the back of my head looks so much, but it has to be bald. It has to be bald, you know?
It's terrible.
I can't grow the hair out on the back and then just go Hulk Hogan skull at it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
No. And as I'm getting older, dude, I'm getting like more and more. It takes so much longer to look so mediocre. Like literally, dude, it's just insane. The pruning and the trimming and the plucking that comes with just being like pseudo presentable. Like, I'm married. I only need to attract one woman, and I'm okay with that. But even that's like, I approach her sometimes like, I'm like, I got weird rogue eyebrow hairs, and Italians get the hair on the outside of the nose, which is like,
I started getting that last year, and I was like, what is this? We got one here, but we don't have enough here.
Dude, it's terrible. And I'm telling you, it's like I spend time in the bathroom doing like shaving the lobes.
The ear.
I know.
When did the hair gentrify away from where it's supposed to be?
I know, buddy. I know. And now it's just you have to do it. It's not even like that's the thing. Listen, I don't miss having hair. I'm bald. There's nothing I could do about it. Sure. Thank God I have a decently shaped head.
Mm-hmm.
However, the thing I miss, or the thing I'm jealous about, is people with hair have options. We don't have options.
None.
If I let my hair grow for a month, I just look like a crazy homeless. Like, I don't look like, oh yeah, Mike's going into his hippie phase again, whatever, growing. No, I look like I'm off meds. Like, it's bad. But if someone that has hair lets it grow for a month, it's like, oh dude, cool. You're getting, you see an actor off project and they got the big beard and whatever. Like, dude, I tried to grow my hair during the pandemic and I looked like the Critic. You remember that cartoon?
Yes. Great show. Underrated show.
Oh, great show. I love that. That was one of my favorite cartoon crossovers, was when he came on The Simpsons.
One of the best, absolutely probably one of the best like TV crossovers ever, because he just felt like a normal character.
In the killer episode of The Simpsons. I mean, that's what I want to do. Maybe that's my niche thing, is just to all day on YouTube watching The Simpsons and commenting on it. There's got to be a market, right? I mean, that's all I want to do. It's my favorite show.
Mm-hmm. It still holds up. That's a little bit of nostalgia. It leads me into the podcast. Are we old yet? Tell them about it. What is the pitch here on the pod?
It is my friend Charles McBee, another hilarious comic. If you guys haven't heard of him, check him out. Charles McBee and myself, 2 40-somethings, and our goal with this podcast it's twofold. We get nostalgic, but also we ask the question, am I old? And we go through things that we've kind of, are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And we realize that we are getting older, and we have so much in common when it comes to the fact that, silly things, dude. Like we put out a lot of the clips online and stuff, and there we go. I'm old. I call it online still. And but like one of
so
the
it was on the internet the other day.
It is. If you guys get, if you have broadband or the telephone wire to the machine.
If you got the latest compact disc from AOL and you have a couple hours.
You have a couple hours left.
Yeah.
Save it.
Yeah, so save it.
Watch a couple episodes. We do half-hour episodes because nobody has the time to watch an hour anymore. But do we just BS about things we remember? Summer jobs, laying in the back of the station wagon and watching the wires go up and down as we're on a road trip as a child, and putting your arm out the window and like arm wrestling the wind and just fun, dumb stuff that like we used to do as a kid when there were no iPads, and we had to entertain ourselves. So
the seatbelt buckle that burned you a little bit if it was in the sun. Yeah.
Seatbelt buckle that burned you. Absolutely. And we have people call in. We have a hotline and we have people call in and go, hey, remember the 18?
That's a radio thing. You're stealing our radio bit. You're getting hotlines now?
No, it's a Google Voice number. It's not a big deal. You can do it. But yeah, no, if the radio would pick us up, well, it'll turn into a radio show. But we have a great time doing it. And it's, dude, it's just fun. We need to embrace the fact that we're all aging. Mm-hmm. And it's hilarious because it's like I'm hearing like young people being nostalgic for their childhood. And I'm like, everyone is old to someone and everyone's young to someone and everyone's out of touch to someone. And so it's kind of a universal thing. And we love it and we have a good time with it. And it's kind of therapeutic in a way. So
and there's these weird things. I can bring it up, maybe a 90s thing and definitely an alternative rock thing is Nirvana. Nirvana recently has had this, I wouldn't call it a surge, but there's a whole new generation that is completely born after the band even having a relative, like they're on stage or anything like that. Yeah. I'm talking like a full generation removed. These are Gen Z kids right now that are getting into Nirvana. And I've heard the bit is to purposely mispronounce the name of the band as Nirvana, and just to like irk somebody. I guess that's just and then me, I have an unreasonable anger about it. I was like, no, this rebellious rock band from when I knew them is not your rebellion. You must respect, even though they're rebels, you must respect the rebels that came before you. Like, and it's kind of like so silly and ridiculous, but also I guess with Nirvana it makes sense. They always had even though it was very dark, there was always some embedded sense of humor in what they were doing.
I remember my alternative rock station in Connecticut was Radio 104.1. And for a while, it was like some soft contemporary adult contempo that turned alternative like overnight. I love when stations do that, dude, when it would be like it's like soft rock and then you turn it on and it's just like Mr. Crowley, and it's like, oh, this isn't Linda Ronstadt anymore. Megadeth. But it became this no commercials. I don't know how it worked, but for a while it was just like 24/7 alternative. And I was such a curmudgeon about new. I never knew anything when I was a kid. For some reason, I was like, it's not Led Zeppelin. It's not the Grateful Dead. It's not Black Sabbath. I don't like it.
It has to take a long time for it to cement in.
Yeah, I'm like Alice in Chains. What a stupid name. Now I'm like, oh my God, I love Alice in Chains, like Soundgarden, whatever. But it's so funny to now go back and listen to even the stuff that I thought was corny then. Like, oh God, what's the name of that band Better Than Ezra? Okay, there's a band who when I was young, when that was new.
All-time best joke about a band, Norm Macdonald on SNL. All-time best joke about a band is Norm Macdonald on SNL about the band Better Than Ezra. Yes. And it was at the peak of their popularity that joke landed.
And he's like, what was he second best? Ezra. Or something like that, right? Was it?
The college rock radio charts for this summer are saying that Better Than Ezra. Yeah. And they just beat out Ezra. It was so perfect.
He's just that's the best. Norm's amazing. But no, it's and I'm nostalgic for that era of SNL. Mm-hmm. And I'm nostalgic for the movies of dude, it's just, I don't know. Some people are like, hey, are you watching White Lotus? Are you watching Succession? Are you watching this? And I'm like, I'm watching Alf, bro. I'm not. I'm holding on to what made me happy then. I don't know. I don't have any interest in.
All right, give me a top five 90s TV shows that you can just go right into right away. Doesn't have to be in any order.
Can I include 80s or is that
any nostalgic? It has to be a hard nostalgic TV show that you can binge on.
Well, number one is The Simpsons. I mean, season 2 through 14.
Yeah, 11. Some people do the cutoff.
I'm stretching that means I won't turn it off. I'll leave it, But that I would say is the best TV ever. Pee-wee's Playhouse.
I'm in the middle of the Pee-wee documentary.
Oh, incredible documentary.
Incredible document on HBO. It's on HBO Max. It's great.
Yeah, and also how like how time forgives and forgets. Interesting fella, that Paul Rubens. But and then I'd say American Gladiators.
They're doing the reboot. Amazon Prime going to do a new one.
Don't care. I like the old ones. I'm a Nitro.
I want to see feathered hair and mullets. Get him on TV.
I'm pro steroids for that reason.
You seen the one clip with Malibu? He's like,
yeah.
So I got a concussion, but I went out and got some sweet rays and got healed by the sun.
The documentary about American Gladiators is pretty incredible,
yes.
dude. Pretty incredible.
Muscles and Mayhem, I think is what
Muscles and Mayhem. Yeah. Growing Pains.
Oh, interesting pick. Why Growing Pains?
Well,
I never got into that.
Kirk Cameron, before he turned into the worst person alive, he was my hero growing up, dude. Mikey, Eddie, and Boner were like, those were the friends you wanted, dude. You wanted an Eddie and you wanted a Boner, you know? Like, Boner Stabone was like the man. Like, he was so cool. And it was just like, it was the family scene. I had a crush on Maggie Seaver. Hottest mom. I'd say hottest TV mom.
Oh, yeah. No, she was, probably top 10 TV mom, I think.
I would put her in maybe top 2, 3. But, you know, because I also have a little penchant for Roseanne. But no, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Pathetic. Just because that was the only TV family that socioeconomically I understood. I'm like a poor kid watching rich families, and I'm like, I don't feel like this family at all.
What?
And dude, controversial or not,
2 TVs? What are you talking about?
Yeah, controversial or not, I don't care. I'm gonna say one of the TV shows that if it's on, I'm watching it. Not on very often, but Cosby Show.
I could see that. Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
Cliff Huxtable, best TV dad of all time. I'm sorry.
Bill Cosby, hard to say, that is a hard separate, like take the artist away from the art type situation. I understand what you're going for, but that show in its time was massive, absolutely
unreal,
massive.
Dude. Theo and all the kids, and I mean, it was, if you had an odd relationship with your dad, you'd watch Cosby Show and go, I want Cliff Huxtable to be my dad, dude. He was the best. And yet they had 9 grandparents that were all jazz musicians. Like, how cool is that? You know, like it was just so, I thought it was a great show, but I understand things being what they are. It's not on anymore. So if I have to pick another, we'll put that one as like a whatever, but
an alternative. That may be something that I get cut out of this interview.
Fine, ready? So let's cut that then for you. And then I would even say old SNL. I'm so nostalgic for Farley.
There's 50 years of it.
Bill Hartman, David Spade, you know, Ellen Cleghorn, like that whole crew from when I was growing up. That was the one night when my parents would say, like, stay up till 1 a.m. It's okay. Because they knew it was like church for me. I'd watch all those. I love Sandler. I love Farley. I love Hartman. I love Schneider and Rock. And, you know, that whole crew was just the best.
My first time, one of the first few times I called into a radio station, they got me on air. I'm a kid. I'm 12 years old. It's 1996. Richard Roper, who did Roper and Ebert for a while after Cisco passed away, had a radio show here in Chicago. And I called into it. Jennifer Weigel was his co-host with him. And I did Phil Hartman's Sinatra as a 12-year-old kid. And I was doing, this is 96. And my dad got a tape of it. My sister coached me and just said, remember the lines. You can do this. You mimic Phil Hartman's Sinatra on SNL. I did it. My mom and dad were at my Nana's house. And I love my Nana. She's the first comedian I ever knew. And she would just do characters. She did Phyllis Diller for people.
Nice.
So, and she passed away 15 years ago. So I'm thinking of all these different things to put into like the album setup. And my dad said, you need to figure out how to get this audio of you on the radio when you're 12 involved. And it may be the intro.
That's
like,
super
the special
cool.
is me in 1996. And then I didn't know this and it got me, but it was bawling is I'm on it. And my Nana calls in and they put my Nana on the air with me. And I'm doing bits with my grandmother who's the first person I saw do bits in front of me, and now it's so weird that you bring up SNL like that, because I started, like, when I watched the 50 special, I was bawling. I was like, it hit me so hard, like that.
I think I was talking to Sam Roberts afterwards on his show, and I was like, that's how the show should end. It's just them, like, 50-year anniversary show was a highlight reel, dude, having everybody back. And when Sandler, can I tell you, that guy makes me cry. Yeah. Any single time he sings a song about Farley and Hartman, and I mean, his love of them and his missing his friends. And dude, I swear to God, I think if I could go back, like, I'm such a Jerry Garcia freak, and I'm such a whatever, like, Farley, if I can go back and hang with one person, I think it would be Farley. He seemed like such a sweet, like, lovable, broken toy. You know what I mean? And just all the stories. And there's a great book. I know I have it here somewhere. It's like the Chris Farley story in 3 acts. And it's like an oral biography. And it's told in chronological order, just stories from his brother, stories from people on set and whatever. And there's a story that they tell about how, like, after SNL tapings, they'd go to dinner, but they'd call the restaurant and try to go through the back door. So no one would see him. Because if one person was like, Farley, do a shot with us, it was weeks of like, where's Chris? Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, it would whatever, like, he'd go off on wicked benders. But the rest of the time, he's at like St. Patrick's Cathedral volunteering and doing, like, so it's just what an unbelievable, I feel there's those things you hear, like, you're happy you're alive in a time when this person's around so you can enjoy their art. I'm so thrilled that I had Adam Sandler, They're All Gonna Laugh at You, that tape, the original Jerky Boys tapes.
Yes.
And SNL, like, that got me through high school. I broke apart a headset. Remember headsets would, like, the Walkman would go like, like little ones that
Yeah. With the little padding on it. Yeah.
The little padding on it that didn't work. It still dug in your ears. I broke one of those on purpose so I could put one ear up one and one ear up the other and cram it in my hat. You could wear a hat in high school. And I would, like, cram the arms up here. So in math, I would pull my hair. I had long, long hair. And I'd pull it over my ears so I could listen to Jerky Boys and Adam Sandler all day long in school till the batteries ran out. And we would just quote it all day. And that was just, I mean, it was, we were comedy rich back then, I feel,
And now, because it was also different because you didn't have access to it so instantaneously, so like, you had to have the album, you had to have the physical things. Right. But let's get to the plugs before I leave you hanging on too long. You're going to be rolling here through the Midwest, and we are going to have you at Zanies coming up here the last weekend of July. It's going to be awesome. Come on out. Tickets are up. Just search Mike Finoia Zanies. It is well worth it. He'll be there on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Is this the 23rd, the 24th, the 20th, and the 25th? Correct? Am I reading that correctly?
Yes, sir.
The 24th, the 25th, and the 26th. So you can catch him that Thursday, that Friday, that Saturday, and then on September 26th, you're going to be at the Hard Rock in Gary, Indiana, as well. So you can catch him with Ron White there as well. So
that's right.
Rolling through, man. And Mike, if they want to follow you, where do they go, bud?
At MikeFinoia. At Mike Finoia, punchup.live/Mike Finoia, at Are We Old Podcast, if you want to get nostalgia with us and reminisce and gripe about the youth. And all those things. That's where I'm at.
All right.
And come out to Zanies. I love Zanies. It's my favorite place. I love that.
Zanies is like, that's another thing. It's like, I'm so spoiled there. I'm so spoiled that I get to do shows there from time to time. I mean, you end up looking around and you feel like you're in like the Hall of Justice, like, and like superheroes are real. Look at them; they're right here.
I love that room. I love the staff. I love the Chicago audiences are so great. I mean, it's just like the city's amazing. I love being there. Last time I was there was Lollapalooza weekend. And I was like, oh, maybe during the day I'll go hang out at Lollapalooza. And I looked at the lineup and I didn't know anybody. So I went by myself to a baseball game instead, where I belong, just by myself eating hot dogs. And not
well, you're here the weekend before Lala, so you got good timing. You almost hit the same window again, but you got good timing. So maybe you beat the traffic. Mike, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, buddy. I'm looking forward to seeing you,
brother. Thank you so much.